Is Clip Studio Paint good for animation? Long story short, yes, Clip Studio Paint is indeed good for 2D animation. Thanks for watching. We're gonna see you next time. Just kidding, you're still gonna have to know which version to get, what tools to use, so in our video today, we explore the tools and features for it specifically and what CSP can and cannot do. Let's jump right in.
Before we continue, let me tell you about SkillShare, which is a platform that has hundreds of classes about animation, drawing, illustration, and several other creative fields. We have a lot of videos on our channel about Clip Studio Paint, but we have never actually discussed the best resources for learning how to color with this program. For that reason, we've got you guys this course from the website SkillShare, which will boost your skills. It's a beginner course that anyone can join, and it is taught by professional colorist Kurt Michael Russell, who will show you how to add colors to line art drawings using Clip Studio Paint's tools. By the end of this course, you will be a professional colorist like the instructor. The Skillshare platform offers a wide variety of additional related courses, and the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will receive a free month of premium membership. Alright, now back to the video.
The timeline. Okay, this is the basics of the basics. Obviously, CSP has to have a timeline widget if it promises any animation features whatsoever. But is there anything that makes CSP's timeline special? Not really, but that is actually a good thing here. You see, timelines are a tried and true feature for digital animation. They're everywhere, and for good reason. They are a staple of the digital animation process. They're mostly the same across all platforms, but there are software that have wicked weird timelines. Yes, I'm looking at you, OpenTunes. You. So, when you have a timeline that is in an industry standard format, not only do you have many resources to figure it out since it's most commonly used, but if you already come from a background of using timelines, making the transition into CSP would be incredibly easy and smooth. Onions everywhere. CSP comes with an onion skin feature. I mean, obviously, oh my god, imagine if it hasn't. It's much of a basic must-have, just as a timeline is. Now, if you happen to not know what that is, it simply means that the software allows you to view the previous frames you are done drawing, but fade it out. Why, you might ask? Well, this helps you make the next frame as close to the previous as possible. Generally speaking, more similar frames produce a smoother transition and thus animation. In Clip Studio Paint, you can adjust the colors of the previous and next frames so that it's easy for you to distinguish. (3D figures). CSP has yet another interesting feature where you can import a 3D model and manipulate it in every way, or use CSP's pre-made ones with the ability to adjust and customize them to what you need exactly. This can be a big time saver for when you need a reference for a pose that you just cannot find. Another feature still in beta that you can also try out is the ability to quote-unquote extract a pose from a photo and create a 3D model off of it. I mean, how cool is that? An inspiring brush engine. You might be wondering why we include brushes as part of the important features for animation in CSP. Well, having a well-rounded roster of brushes allows you to be intentional in your artistic direction of the animation you're making. When your animation has a distinct style and feel, it would be a lot more memorable and impactful. Wait, hold on a second. What does that have to do with brushes? Yeah, I'm sure you're asking that. The answer is, when you have a wide array of stylized brushes with different feels, like a sketching brush or a heavily textured brush, it can give your drawings a bit of a pop. For example, let's say you are making an animation where you want it to feel like a child's doodles. You can use a pencil-like brush for line art and a crayon-like brush for colors. That should give you exactly the style you're looking for and effectively communicate the feel to the viewer. Perfect line work. Drawing line art in a digital context can be quite challenging, and this can be even more of a challenge if your animations rely heavily on line art. CSP helps you out by providing you with two great features. First, you can use vector lines with raster-like brushes. You can easily modify the strokes you make them wider, slimmer, taper them off, and so forth, without losing an inch of quality. And that is after you draw the line, all thanks to vector. This provides you with both ease of use and aesthetic. In addition, there is line stabilization as well, so you can take your sweet time drawing your line work how you like it to be. Coloring was never easier. Speaking of line art, coloring can also be just as much of a tedious process, especially when you have many similar frames to go through. It can be fatally boring and hard to go through. Luckily though, CSP has a tool called the Fill tool. Essentially, all you have to do is run your stylus through wherever you want to color and the tool fills it for you. This also works if you have spots where your line doesn't cross another line effectively closing the space. You just need to tick a box for that and CSP will take it from there. There's also an AI coloring feature where you can place splashes of color where you want them to go and the AI will fill it up for you. Camera movement. We see the use of camera movement effects is something recurring in long 2D animation productions, like anime for instance. Just like the example I just gave you, camera movements help give an illusion of animation without you having to do all the work. It also helps you make the most of a stagnant, unmoving scene. In CSP, you actually have the option to do so. For instance, you can zoom in and out, use angle tilts and movement on a smooth curve, and so on and so forth, to make it so that a scene looks like it's animated when it's actually not. This feature can save you a lot of time and energy, while still maintaining quality, especially if you know exactly when to use it. Audio integration. If you're making somewhat of an intricate animation, you might need some audio work to go with it. Even if your animation is pretty short, you can really make it pop by adding some audio here and there. And if you're really smart and creative with it, it can make a huge difference in your animation. Clip Studio Paint offers you the ability to do that without you having to switch to another software. This can really encourage you to take your animation to the next level, even if the animation is short. Some of the things you can do in CSP is import music, which you can use as a backdrop for instance. You can also export sound effects or dialogue even. Clip Studio Paint is compatible with 8-bit and 16-bit uncompressed WAV files, MP3 files, and OGG files. And that was that for our video about CSP's animation capabilities. So, would you use it? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. With that being said, thank you for watching as always, and see you next time.